Folks, welcome to an all new So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. This is your pal Ryan, and this is your Thursday episode. How the heck are you guys doing? Are you good? We're so close to the weekend, and we got another great episode for you. We have the one and only Carlos King back with us. It's always a good day when we get to talk to Mr. King. He really is fantastic. I'm a huge fan of his podcast when I get to listen to it, Reality with the King. In fact, I did a whole podcast just on his interview with Alexis Bellino and John Jansen, because I thought it was like kind of masterful in a way, but it's so great to have him back on, especially because he also is an executive producer, a show creator. He started off on Bravo doing Real Housewives of New Jersey, Real Housewives of Atlanta, and now he's got a whole cadre of just kind of really incredible reality shows. But this Saturday, season 2 of his hit Love and Marriage Detroit on the OWN network will be premiering. So we talk a little bit about that, but we also dive into OC, we dive into Jersey, we talk a lot of housewives. I mean, the guy just, you can tell why he is where he is. And even though I don't agree with him on some of his housewives' opinions, I always listen because the proof is in the pudding. I mean, this guy has built a career around this. So I always learn something. And it's always the best is when you don't agree with somebody, but you are so willing to listen. And I think that's like kind of the best thing in the world. And maybe I'm that way for some people too, where you might not agree with me, but at least you'll listen to me bitch and moan. So thank you. Thank you. So if you want to skip right to Carlos, there's a timestamp for that. But until then, we are going to do a little bit of a mini pop culture roundup because there are a lot of things happening in the Bravo universe and the pop culture world as well right now. So let's do a roundup, if it were. Also, if you like this podcast, and please, that's how I base my entire confidence system is if you guys like this, consider rating it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you're watching on YouTube, hello, YouTube. How are you? Thank you so much. Special thanks goes out to Maritza Lopez and Sandra Freier, who I work with and are always trying to keep me on track. And that's such a hard job. But I do want to also point out Maritza. This is really exciting. Maritza is doing a podcast of her own, you guys. She is a huge fan of the Love is Blind franchise on Netflix. And this is so interesting because I wasn't even aware of this, is that Love is Blind has Love is Blind Mexico edition. And so she has started a podcast called Love is Latino, a Love is Blind podcast. The graphic is beautiful. She put the little 2-minute teaser up on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, but it's called Love is Latino. And I believe she's going to release the first 4 episodes sometime this next week. But I'm really excited because I wasn't even aware this show existed because I just got finished watching Love is Blind UK. I was like, God, how many different iterations of Love is Blind do they have? And she told me tons. But I think this is great. She loves the show, and I think she'll bring people to that show. So I'm really excited to listen. So, baddies, go and support. Go and support Maritza. I'm very proud that she's doing this. So we got to support. So there's that. 5-star review for me. Right after this, I'm going to finish the Vanderpump Rules Patreon season 1, episode 6 recap. So hello, baddies over there. And I think that's all the news. Oh my gosh, you guys. I did a live interview today. I'm so used to doing interviews over, the internet, just sitting behind a computer. And that's great. It's what we're used to, but it is so great when you get to do it in person. And today I got to interview 4 of the cast members of the new Hulu show, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which comes out this Friday, all 8 episodes on Hulu. And it was great. I got a really cool studio space. And there was this amazing lady. I'm blanking on her name. I got to find it because I got to reach out to her again just to say thank you. She made me this beautiful So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey sign. I'm talking a big old sign. And I got it from her a couple of weeks before mom passed away. And I have never been able to fully use it. I've been kind of, it's just been a mess of a year. So I finally got to use it in this studio space and it is just gorgeous. I need to reach out to her and say thank you, but I'm so excited for you guys to see this. I just, it's like maybe what's to come, doing more live in person interviews, which is just a dream. It's a whole different animal and it's a whole different muscle to work on. So I'm really excited about that. Feel very blessed. Yeah, next week I think I will be in New York. I'm gonna go to a before the 90 days party. The before the 90 days show I just talked about. They're doing an event in New York for I guess the new cast. They're doing this boat ride thing, so I'm gonna go and check that out. It's kind of it'll be nice to go and do something outside of just sitting behind a computer and doing this show. So I'm excited about that. I can't wait to be in New York for a couple of days. So yeah, I mean, it is so funny though. We've had so many good interviews this week, which by the way, go check out the Emma Guns one from yesterday. I thought that was a fantastic interview, and it's always exciting to meet new people and just really hit it off with them. But we had Demois, we had Sophie this week, so really good, and we got some great interviews coming up next week. But it is so funny is that even after all of this time, I am just a nervous person at heart. I can't shake it. Like I knew I was doing the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives interview, you guys, and I've been nervous about it for 2 days. I've been nervous, and they're not even famous yet. They're not even. I mean, they're famous, I guess, on Mom Talk, but like I get so people think that I joke around when I say that, but it's true. Like I felt out of my body yesterday, and then today, oh my god, you guys, I didn't do flop sweat like I usually do. So that's growth. But I get so nervous and I get so like kind of jacked up that after I did this, after like it was like took us like 3 hours, not for the interview, but for everything and surrounding it. And then I've just been like just amped all day. It's kind of like I got into a car crash or something. Good times. Like, when is this? I just love that we go through our entire lives and we just have these things about us that you're like, man, wouldn't it be great to have a life where you just didn't get nervous at an opening of an envelope? Like, I'm just nervous all the time. Are you guys like that at all? No, you're probably well adjusted and completely cool. That's good for you guys. Okay, enough of that noise. Let's get into some pop culture stories. Now, let's start off with a show. We don't really cover this show when it's on. I mean, we did last year because of Ariana Madix, right? She, was cast on Dancing with the Stars. I think she took like third place. I mean, she was really high up there. She did amazing. So I watched for her. And it used to be one of my parents' favorite shows, but they just announced their cast for season 33, which is going to premiere Tuesday, September 17th, 8 p.m. on ABC. And it's always exciting to see who they're going to ask to be on this show to compete for the Golden Mirror Ball. I think that's what the trophy is called. But this is the celebrities that they picked this year. And we're starting off with a big one, you guys. We got Phaedra Parks. Phaedra mother flipping Parks, a Bravo alum. Good job, Phaedra. What a year this woman has had. I mean, kind of the last couple of years, if you count Ultimate Girls Trip, which kind of reintroduced her to Bravo after her really unfortunate demise that she created for herself on Real Housewives of Atlanta. But she did that. I think people started to like kind of re-fall in love with her again. Married to Medicine, crushed it on The Traitors, and now she has been offered Dancing with the Stars. And remember, she's coming back to Real Housewives of Atlanta this upcoming season. That deal was in place once Kenya Moore was not asked to come back for the remainder of the season she had already started filming. So Phaedra Parks, her partner is going to be Val Chamarvexi. Val, God, Val Murkowski. Let's just call him Val. I hear that's a good one. That's a good Val. So Val. So this is exciting. Phaedra, and she's going to kill the interviews. I'm not sure what kind of dancer she is, but man, I cannot wait to see Phaedra because you need those Bravo people. Okay. And then we have this guy, Danny Amendola. I'm not a sports type guy, shocking. And he is a former NFL player who won 2 Super Bowls as a wide receiver for the New England Patriots. I've heard of them. He's also competed in the reality series Special Forces World's Toughest Test. Ooh, that's the show that Tom Sandoval did last season. What's up, Jojo Siwa? I'm going to beat you at all these endurance tests. So we got that guy, and then we have Joey Grazadea. Joey Grazadea, he is Bachelor Nation. He was the runner-up on Charity Lawson season of The Bachelorette, and then he led his own season 28 of The Bachelor, which ended with him being engaged to Kelsey Anderson. So we got Joey there. And then we got, I'm sorry I'm butchering these names, you guys. Alona Mar, I think that's how you say her name, but she's an Olympian. She's an Olympian. She just won gold with the women's rugby team. In the 20, oh, sorry. Nope. She won a bronze medal. Wow. She won a bronze, but still really good. And she's really, really popular. I've seen her everywhere. So she's going to be competing on Dancing with the Stars. And I believe she's not really a dancer. So this will be interesting, but she's an athlete. Her partner is going to be Alan Burston. Then we have Chandler Kinney. Chandler Kinney has played Willa in the Disney Channel original movie franchise Zombies. Okay. And she also starred in Pretty Little Liars Original Sin. And she's excited to do it. Okay. Now this is the one. And we talk a little bit about who did I talk just about this with? Maybe it's next week's already anyways, Anna Delvey. Anna mother flippin' Delvey. And if you're wondering who Anna Delvey is, you're not a true pop culture fan, because remember, we make crime pop culture now. And Anna Delvey Sorokin is known as the notorious so-called fake heiress whose financial crimes and lavish lifestyle inspired the Emmy-nominated Netflix show Inventing Anna, and was detailed in the book My Friend Anna, The True Story of a Fake Heiress. In 2019, Delvey was convicted on 8 counts, including grand larceny and theft of services. She was sentenced to 12 years in prison, fined $24,000 in order to pay nearly $200,000 in restitution. She was released on good behavior in February 2021. And she, in her picture, is wearing an ankle monitor. she's allowed to do this. She's allowed to leave New York, because I believe she was confined to her apartment as part of her release deal, but now she is able to travel to do this. But I was watching some red carpet interviews with her, and she just like, I don't really watch this show. I don't know. Like, she seems, I don't know how excited she is about this. I don't even know if you need to be excited about this, but it's very interesting. It's another one of those things where I wish Andy Warhol was alive to comment on us making celebrities out of criminals. I mean, and obviously she is, paying her due, went to jail, went to prison, paying restitution. But there is something interesting that we make these people celebrities. And I'm not saying that I'm not here for it, because I will be watching every one of these, because it feels like watching a train wreck. The thing that I'm curious about, though, is will people really care other than us, the people that are really plugged in? Are people going to be like, I just have this feeling, because I know, thinking back to when my parents would watch the show, they would have no flipping clue who this is. So in some ways, it's an opportunity for Anna to broaden her fan base, but you're like, fan base for what? I mean, I was kind of hoping for Gypsy Rose to be on this, but of course she is pregnant, so I'm sure that took her out of contention. But I mean, this is kind of like breaking the glass ceiling for criminals in competition reality series. If this goes well, I think you're going to see a lot more of this coming down the pike. But like I said, it's like when people go on Twitter and they get so upset. They're like, oh my God, everybody hates everybody. And then you realize only a small percentage of people are actually on Twitter. So they don't know sometimes what a cesspool it is. And I'm sorry if Twitter is one of your favorite apps, but come on, it's a cesspool. It really is. I enjoy it, but it's a cesspool. So are people going to even know the first thing about her? It just feels a little bit of mess, and I think we're here for mess. So it'll be interesting to see how this all works. And then we've got legendary actor Eric Roberts. Eric Roberts, an actor in so many films, also the father of Emma Roberts, the actress. Now, I will say, I watched his movie Star 80 that came out in 1983. I just watched it for the first time this past year, and it's a true story. about, I believe he was married to this playmate, Dorothy Stratton. And unfortunately, he ended up unaliving her. And, Hugh Hefner was a part of this story, the director, Peter Bogdanovich. But there's this fantastic movie, Star 80, that I just thought it was so good. And Eric Roberts was fantastic in it. Well, he's going to be on this season of Dancing with the Stars. Then we have Brooke Nader, and Brooke Nader is a model who has appeared in the pages of the Sports Illustrated Swimsuit edition. She was featured in I don't know. Yeah, okay, Brooke Nader. And then we got Reginald Vell Johnson. Yeah, he is the beloved dad, Carl Winslow, from the ABC show Family Matters. He played Carl for 9 seasons, also, of course, in the Die Hard franchise, and just what a great smile that guy has. Okay, this is another big one. Maybe not so much for us, but for her. Tori Spelling. Tori mother effing Spelling from all will always have my heart as Donna Martin from 90210. She is on Dancing with the Stars. And man, she's had a rough go of it. She, ended her marriage with her husband. They have a bunch of kids. She has a podcast, I believe, with Jenny Garth from 90210. But she always, and I think she's kind of open about this, about needing money. Her dad, you know, her dad was just incredible. And Aaron Spelling just created so much amazing television, and he was so rich. And they had at one point one of the biggest mansions in Holmby Hills. And her mom even had like a separate room just for wrapping gifts, very Heather Dubrow coded. But when Tori's dad died, the mom didn't give any money allegedly to Tori. So, and Tori, I grew up with Tori. I want the best for Tori. Man, I would love to talk to Tori on this podcast one day, but I'm rooting for her. I'm pulling for her. I just read an article where she said, listen, after Shannon Doherty passed away, I'm still going through a lot of that, kind of emotional upheaval, but I'm still pushing on and doing Dancing with the Stars. So good for you, Tori Spelling. And then we have Jen Tran. And Jen Tran, she most recently was the Bachelorette on this season of The Bachelorette, which just ended its run on what day are we? Was it Tuesday night? Yeah, it just ended its run on Tuesday night. In fact, I think I'm having Kay York City from the Bachelor podcast on this to talk about her season and the Bachelor franchise at large, because we don't really cover it, but it is something to dip into once in a while if you pay attention to pop culture. Then we have Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard is a professional basketball player who's played 18 seasons in the NBA. Damn. Okay. And then we have Steven Netaruskic. And Steven, he is another Olympian from the 2024 Paris Olympics, where he got 2 bronze medals and as a pommel horse specialist in the U.S. men's gymnastics team. This guy, he has like the funny nerd glasses, but like you get this guy on a pommel horse, he's taking you to town. This guy was doing like all this crazy things on the pommel horse. I love this kid. I'm excited for him. So these are our stars. Now, there's a couple of missed opportunities here. I don't know. In some ways, this feels lacking with a few bright spots, but I'm also not into sports. So those kind of people I just throw out. Phaedra, I'm excited about. Tori, I'm excited about, the Olympians, but I feel like we are missing a couple of big names. And I will say, and I say this without any kind of joking at all, is that Miss Sheena Shea should have been on this season. Don't groan. Listen to me. She should have been on. It would have been great. I feel like Dancing with the Stars needs this, because we would have tuned in for Sheena. We'll tune in for Phaedra, but we would have tuned in for Sheena too. And even if it was in kind of a LOL kind of way, that's still it. Like, Sheena should have monopolized on this, and hopefully she will monopolize on not making the cast and make a bunch of jokes about it, and kind of lean into that. But I did think there was an offhanded chance that she would have been asked to be on this, and her clip package on Dancing with the Stars would have been about her being upset about not being on Dancing with the Stars. I thought it would have been, especially since Dancing with the Stars has turned more and more self-referential throughout the years. And if you're going to put people like Anna Delvey on, then I'm sorry, Miss Sheena Shea should be on. You got to pull people in. And for that matter, I was shocked that they didn't have somebody from the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. That show premieres on Hulu, which is, ABC owns Hulu. It's part of the Disney umbrella. Is that why not put somebody on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? Most of those girls dance their asses off on their TikTok. And I do think people are going to tune into that show on Hulu. So why not like cross promote that way? Or even the new teacher from Dance Moms that's on Hulu as well. You got to think outside the box. I mean, when's going to be our first 90-day fiance contestant on this? So congratulations to all of the new contestants on Dancing with the Stars. Now, I just brought up Sheena Shea, but I do have to now bring up Lala Kent, Sheena's BFF. That is because, as I told you on Monday's episode, Lala Kent has given birth. We have an official announcement. She has welcomed baby two. She had her baby on September 3rd, so Tuesday, just yesterday, and she announced this on an Instagram story, and it says, "Welcome into the world, my love," which that's kind of sounds like Yolanda Hadid. "Welcome to the world, my love, lemons." She wrote this in her Instagram story, but she also included audio of adults cheering over her baby girl's arrival. So the clip captured like literally some of this baby's cries, and it just said 9/3/24. By the way, if we had audio of me being born, it would have been me being born, and people like, "Oh shit, oh no, ah, no, gross." No, so this is it. So let's see who leaks the baby name first. It will not be me. But yeah, congratulations goes out to Lala Kent. Now, most of the cast of The Valley are in Hawaii. We've talked about that all week. Jax Taylor has stayed behind. Who knows if Jax Taylor will hop on a Delta flight and get there for the remaining day? Who knows if he stayed behind to help Lala out with the birth? Who knows who all was there? And I do wonder if the Valley captured any of this on cameras. There is a sneaking suspicion for me that they probably did, but we will find out more information. But literally, congratulations. Like, having a child in this world is such an amazing gift, and I know how into being a mother she is. So congratulations goes out to Lala Kent. Okay, we got a couple more stories for you, and we talk a lot more than we ever have in this year about social media, influencers, things of that nature, because it seems to be where a lot of entertainment is focused around influencers now. And I mean, that can be really scary. It can be kind of exciting. We just talked about the Hawk Tua girl having her own podcast now called Talk Tua, which I still think is a brilliant name, but a lot of people are in an uproar about that. Well, do you guys remember Reesa Teesa? Now, Reesa Teesa had this like 50-part TikTok series where it was literally Who the Fuck Did I Marry? Who the Fuck Did I Marry was a 50-part story where she went into insane depth about this man she married and all of these insane lies he had told throughout the course of their marriage and the fallout and all this stuff. And everybody was hanging on every word, and she blew up. She got really TikTok famous. But she kind of disappeared. She said she was working on some stuff, but I think a lot of people were like, well, what's actually going on? I do notice that you'll have like kind of these people blow up on TikTok and then they sign some kind of deal or get a manager or agent, and then they kind of disappear from the platform in a lot of ways. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen to Jules LeBron, who is the very demure lady, like very demure, like that. That was all over for the last 3 weeks, and I haven't heard it nearly as much this week as I've done the weeks before. So I'm curious, what their next step is going to be. But Reesa Teesa, all of a sudden, we got hit with a big news story today. Is that they are doing a TV adaptation of her "Who the Fuck Did I Marry" TikTok series, and this is really exciting. This is going to be for ABC's signature. It'll probably wind up on Hulu, but Natasha Rothwell is going to star in this and produce. And Natasha Rothwell, she starred in was it the first season of The White Lotus on HBO? And she's coming back for this upcoming season, which will be great. She's fantastic in it. And she's going to be playing Reesa Teesa, and she's also producing this. So I think that's so exciting. Like that's really cool, because I think it's good for Natasha Rothwell. It's obviously good for Reesa Teesa, and we'll see if it's good for television. But this is one of those things where I love it. Like it's like a piece of content that we're actually going to use as intellectual property or IP and turn it into content. I mean, it's much better than some of the other things that you see getting, put into content form. So I'm here for this. Now, Also, then in movie news, did you guys hear about this? So, listen, this isn't a political podcast, but we are in an election year and Donald Trump is the Republican candidate for president. Well, they are doing a film. It's already done and it's going to be released I think in October. They're trying to find the release schedule for this, but it's called The Apprentice and it focuses on a young Donald Trump. This is an origin story. But it's a brilliant title, The Apprentice, because of course Donald Trump's NBC reality show, The Apprentice. But a lot of people, you know, I wouldn't say I'm necessarily a history buff, but I love documentaries. And there's so many good documentaries out there on these political figures, whether it be Bill Clinton, whether it be Donald Trump, whether it be, I mean, everyone. I watched this Frontline documentary on PBS a long time ago about Trump. And, is he kind of studied under the tutelage of the famed and infamous attorney Roy Cohn. And if you don't know Roy Cohn, look into Roy Cohn. And he was a very, very evil man, Roy Cohn. Look into his history. And Man, Roy Cohn. And if you're a fan of the theater, you read the play Angels in America by Tony Kushner sometime. It's a two-part play and I was in love with his play in high school. But Roy Cohn is one of the major characters. In fact, Al Pacino, when they made a movie of Angels in America, he played the Roy Cohn part in the HBO movie directed by Mike Nichols. Fantastic adaptation. But Roy Cohn in this movie is going to be played by Jeremy Strong from Succession. And Donald Trump is going to be played by Sebastian Stan. And takes place in the 80s. Maria Bakalova is playing Ivanka Trump, right? Ivanka, the mom. Ivana is the daughter. Ivanka Trump and Maria Bakalova. You might know her from the Borat sequel. My wife. Remember the Borat sequel? She was the lead girl in that. She was fantastic. So it'll be interesting to see her, play Ivanka. But it's going to be a young Trump playing apprentice to the attorney Roy Cohn. And, if you go and research this isn't any kind of conspiracy, is Trump studied under Roy Cohn. And Roy Cohn was one of the most powerful men in New York for a long period of time. So this is when Trump was trying to make a name for himself in the 1980s New York real estate game. And this movie debuted at the Cannes Film Festival and all the major studios and top specialty labels passed on making an offer. And one potential issue for this was because a cease and desist letter from Trump's legal team. And they have pushed forward and they are going to get a release on October 11th, just weeks before Election Day. Oh my God, the election. Anyways, I just think that's interesting. Listen, I'm all for these adaptations. I've always, like I said, I love documentaries. I love movies about historical figures. I mean, hell, I even watch Anthony Hopkins as Nixon in that Oliver Stone movie from like, what is that, 20 years ago now? So keep an eye out for that. Even if you hate Trump, I think that's going to be a really, really interesting, interesting is a good word, an interesting movie. Yeah, it will be. Okay. And then finally today, there was another viral thing making its way around the internet, and it was a alleged contract, a breakup contract that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were going to be breaking up at the end of September, and it was this whole paperwork about all of the steps in their breakup to kind of show that this thing was planned all along. Now, a lot of people, the internet blew up about this. I think this God, timing's not that, just yesterday. In fact, you're going to hear an interview with me and comments by celebs who I love those ladies so much. They came on yesterday and you'll hear that next week. But this news broke right at the end of our conversation. And you'll hear us both talking about it and finding out about it. But we have a little bit more information. If you've seen these screenshots, it was like somebody was working at Travis Kelce's PR place. It's called Full Scope, right? And he really is signed with this PR agency called Full Scope. And this paperwork looked very official. And the person was like, can't believe Rita left this at her desk. And then flipped a page and it looked, it looked like words. It looked like words and saying, hey, they're going to make a mutual announcement at the end of September. And people were passing this around as fact. Listen, I think this is some of the biggest baloney bullshit that I've ever seen. It is funny. Like, listen, I could go find Travis Kelce's PR person, write up a like have AI write up a document like this. But there are so many weird things about this. If you think about it logistically, is that nobody and it says confidential agreement at the front page, which is, I was watching this TikTok for somebody that works at a PR place, and it's like if something's confidential, you'll put confidential on the first page. You won't put it then in the body of the document, which is a very small detail, but something worth noting. And the fact that this would just be laying around at a desk and that somebody printed it out, like that they're just printing it out willy nilly. No, I'm sorry. Taylor Swift is arguably the biggest pop star on the planet right now. And I just and Travis Kelce, obviously very, very insanely successful as well. I think the NFL season's about to start. Who knows? And he's also going to be acting in Ryan Murphy's Grotesquerie, which is going to be premiering in like a month and a half, I believe. We got our first look at the trailer today for that. And, it seems like he's wanting to be an actor. But a lot of people have said this is a PR relationship. In fact, the Trinity Oracle sisters, those psychic sisters that have been on a bunch of times, they've said that from the start. I still do not believe that. And I also do not believe, with every fiber of my being, I do not believe that somebody would lay out a contract about somebody's breakup of two of the most popular people in entertainment right now. I just don't think anyone would be that idiotic. And in fact, one of these TikToks that I watched said, because they put the person's name, oh, I can't believe blah, 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 left this out on their desk. And this lady went to Full Scope's like roster, checked every name that works for them, and this name wasn't even in that roster. Now, I watched another TikTok video where they said, listen, these things do happen, and sometimes PR people will kind of make a plan for worst case scenario. It's like how newspapers will pre-write obituaries for really famous people, and especially as they get older, just to have it at the ready. I'm not joking about that. That happens all the time. Is that sometimes, this person was alleging like maybe this was that thing. Maybe they were just planning for when and if it ever happens, they are ready to go. But who knows? I think it is full of bullshit. And in fact, Travis Kelce's people immediately came out and said, this is complete rubbish. But of course, that's what they would say regardless. But sorry, I'm so hiccupy today. Just sharing things. But I just think it's complete bullshit. So don't worry. Travis and Taylor are still together, unless you hate both of them. And then I'm sorry, Travis and Taylor are still together. That's it for the pop culture roundup today. And now here is the man, the myth, the legend, the one and only. Make sure you go check out the new season. Come on, you got to go check out the new season. You got to support Carlos's show, Love and Marriage Detroit, the second season out right now. But you can also watch the first season on Max just to catch up. And that's it, you guys. Here he is, Carlos King.